and the condition of the power system stability. So I think this whiteboard is visible to you. So swing curve. So swing curve is a plot of delta versus time. From where this swing curve comes, the swing curve comes from the solution of the swing equation. M d square delta by dt square is equal to Pm minus Pe, which is nothing but the Pa. Uh, it can be also be written as d square delta by dt square is equal to Pa by M. And then we have to use the double integration to solve the delta. Uh, there is certain numerical methods used for the solution of the equation. These numerical methods are number one, point by point method. Then we have Euler's method. Then we have the Runge-Kuttas method. So these methods are used for the solution of swing curve. Now look at the swing curve. Swing curve is that there is variation of the delta like this. So this is my unstable system, and this is the stable system. The condition of stability is this one, that you can see here slope is positive. Slope is positive, here slope is negative, here slope is 0. So slope of the swing curve is 0. So that slope of any curve, because here this curve is delta versus time, so slope is equal to d delta by dt is equal to 0. So whenever this d delta by dt, which is nothing but the omega. Delta is the angle, relative angle between the synchronously rotating frame and the rotor angle. So that omega becomes 0. It does not mean that rotor starts rotating. No, rotor is always rotating. Omega is 0. It does not mean rotor stops rotating. No, it means there the relative motion between the synchronously rotating frame and the rotor, that relative motion becomes speed of that relative motion. Speed of that relative motion becomes 0. So this condition d delta by dt is equal to 0 comes from the swing curve, and this is used for the deciding the stability of the power system. And this condition is also used for a criteria. That criteria we will discuss in some next class. That criteria is known as equal area criteria. So in equal area criteria, we make use of the condition d delta by dt is equal to 0, and we draw the two areas. One is accelerating area and one is decelerating area. So this equal area criteria is the graphical method by which we can determine the stability of the power system. We will come to this equal area criteria in some next class, because it requires one whole lecture. One or two lectures are required for covering this part, equal area criteria. Now I want to come to the numerical portion using the swing equation. So let us discuss this numerical So yes, this is the numerical 5.3. So I find it very important from the practical as well as examination point of view. So in this numerical, you can see that a 5 hertz 4-pole turbo alternator rated at 100 MVA, 11 kV. Inertia constant is 8 megajoule per MVA. So you can see F is 50, number of poles are 4, G, the rating is 100 MVA, 11 kV. Inertia constant is given by the symbol H. So H here is 8 megajoule per MVA. GH by pi F, H, that H is inertia constant. So number one, we have to determine the energy stored in the rotor. So in the moving part or in the rotating part, the kinetic energy is always stored. So what is the use of that kinetic energy? That is very useful. Kinetic energy is very useful. Whenever the load increases on the system, abruptly there is no change in mechanical input is not abrupt, because mechanical input to the machine, mechanical input to the generator, it is through the through some mechanism, right? Through some mechanism, you can understand at this point of time that through some mechanism, some mechanical input will increase. That mechanism is lethargic. It does not respond very quickly. Okay, it does not respond very quickly. That's why during that time, when load is high, mechanical input is less, what happens that the kinetic energy which is stored in the rotor, that gets converted into the electrical energy. Rotor slows down a little bit. Rotor slows down a little bit, frequency reduces, right? So that reduce in frequency is due to the fact that kinetic energy which is stored in the synchronous generator has been converted into the electrical energy. Consider the other case, whenever electric load decreases. Okay, whenever electrical load decreases, mechanical input does not respond quickly. What happens? Stored kinetic energy increases because less energy is required to be supplied to the electrical load. That's why kinetic energy which is stored in the rotor, it increases. It causes the increase in frequency. Okay. So there are two conditions. Number one, increase in frequency. When the increase in frequency happens, increase in frequency happens when load decreases. And when the decrease in frequency happens, when the load increases. So increase in load will cause a reduction in frequency, and decrease in load will cause the increase in frequency, but the frequency is required to be maintained at the 50 hertz. So this is a problem of maintaining the stability. Stability is related with the 50 hertz frequency. So what is the energy, kinetic energy stored in the rotor? It is simply given by the formula GH. Okay. G is the rating where it is written as S here. So we have used it as a symbol G. So G into H is the kinetic energy stored, 100 MVA multiplied by inertia constant at 8 megajoule per MVA. So here H kinetic energy stored is given by simply this formula. Let me show you by writing. kinetic energy is equal to G into H. G is 100, H is 8. Okay, so simply 800 megajoule energy has been stored in the kinetic energy is stored in the rotor of the simulator. Now, second part is find the rotor acceleration if the mechanical input is suddenly raised to 80 megawatt for an electric load of 50 megawatt. You can see here mechanical input कितनी है जी? mechanical input 80 है, electrical load कितना है? 50 है, difference कितना है? 30 है. So this 30, what is this 30 is the accelerating power which will cause the acceleration of the rotor. So we use this equation, swing equation, md square delta, not theta. So there is mistake here, it's not theta, it's delta. Md square delta by dt square is equal to Pa, which is equal to Pm minus Pe. So from here, m we have this formula. For m we have this formula. So d square delta by dt square is given by Pa by m. Right. So this gives me 337.5 electrical degrees per second. So I can also write down the formula here. M d square delta by dt square is equal to Pa, which is nothing but mechanical power input minus electrical. 80 minus 50 is 30. ठीक है, m का formula है gh by pi f if we use the radians, and if we use the degrees, it is gh by 180 f megajoule second per electrical degrees. So from here we find out the value of m, and from using this d square delta by dt square acceleration. So acceleration is equal to d square delta by dt square is equal to Pa by m. So which comes out to be 337.5 electrical degrees per, against there is a mistake, second square. Okay, its acceleration is in electrical degrees per second square. Students, please, this is very important that whenever you write some numerical value, you must specify its units. Okay, otherwise there is no significance of any numerical value. Units must be specified. Another example, let us consider that we are having number of generators. So this is another important example. In this example, we were having only one generator, but generally in case of power system, we are having number of generators which are swinging coherently. We need to say that all the generators are swinging, means they are exhibiting some characteristics or of the swing curve, but they are having synchronism within each other. So let us consider this example. We have a power station with 4 generators. Each is having 80 MVA as its rating and 8 megajoule per MVA as its inertia constant. Another power station is having 3 generators. Each is having 200 MVA as the rating. Okay, and 3.5 megajoule per MVA is inertia constant. In the stability studies, H is very important because this specifies that what is the kinetic energy stored for a unit value of rating? For 1 unit of the rating, for 1 MVA, what is the kinetic energy stored? Right, so that inertia constant value becomes very important for stability studies. Determine the inertia constant of single equivalent machine. Now, for stability studies, we replace these 7 generators by 1 generator. 4 generators are with power station 1 and 3 generators are with power station 2. 7 generators are there, but for stability studies, we have to consider single equivalent machine. So what is the inertia constant of single equivalent machine? Assume the base value is 100 MVA. Okay, 4 generators, 80 MVA. What we will do, just add up, because H1 G1, H2 G2, H3 G3, H4 G4. So we have to add up to find out the equivalent value of the kinetic energy, because all the generator kinetic energy have been added up. So here we have 4 into 80 into 8 for 4 generators. For 3 generators, we have 3 into 200 into 3.5. This is the total kinetic energy. So what is the total kinetic energy? Is 4660 megajoule. And then we have single equivalent machine, the base value. What is the base value of single equivalent machine is 100 MVA. But we assume that single machine is of 100 MVA, considering base to be 100 MVA. Generally, base is considered to be 100 MVA for any power system. Okay. Otherwise, if it is specified, you have to take that base. Otherwise, 100 MVA is most commonly used value. So inertia constant of the equivalent machine is as follows: total kinetic energy divided by the rating of single equivalent machine. So I can specify using the formula that G equivalent H equivalent is equal to G1 H1, G2 H2, G3 H3, G4 H4 plus, this is of the power station number 1. Okay, power station number 1. For power station number 2, so G1 H1, for the power station number 2, G2 H2 and G3 H3, right, for the power station number 2. So from here, this summation GIHI for the power station number 1, I is equal to 1 to 4. For the power station number 2, I is equal to 1 to 3. GIHI. G equivalent, H equivalent. So H equivalent is given by this whole summation divided by G equivalent. Two I is equal to 1 to 3, I is equal to 1 to 4. So this gives me 46.6 megajoule per MV. And I think these two numericals which I have discussed are clear to you. Now I go to the next topic, which is the power angle curve. So this was the swing equation and swing curve. Another topic which is important for stability analysis is power angle curve. So we are considering the plotting of power angle characteristics using the power angle equation. So जिस तरह swing equation है उसी तरह ही power angle equation है तो power angle curve है. Confuse नहीं करना दोनों में क्योंकि swing ਦੀ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ power curve ਜਾਂ power ਦੀ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ swing curve नहीं use करना है. So we are considering a synchronous generator. It is supplying to the infinite bus. So this is known as SMIB. SMIB, single machine infinite bus system. At infinite bus, we are having V angle 0 degree. XS is the reactance, transfer reactance between generator and the infinite bus. Terminal voltage is E angle delta. Electrical power is, this is the voltage, excitation voltage, not terminal voltage. This is excitation voltage. Better it should be written not here, it should be written here. E angle delta at the generator behind the synchronous reactance of the generator. So its single phase equivalent can be represented by this diagram. E angle delta is the source voltage, excess, and then we have the terminal voltage, B angle 0 degree. So this is excess. So we need to determine what is the electrical power, which is being transferred. The electrical power actual value or the real value which is being transferred from synchronous generator to the infinite bus. So we make use of the formula of complex power. The complex power is, as I have already given you this formula, complex power S is given by E multiplied by I conjugate, where I is the current supplied by the synchronous generator. Okay. So the real part is given by PE. So real value of S or real value of E multiplied by I conjugate. So real value of E is written as E angle delta, and current is written as, how the current is written as, the current can be written by the formula I is equal to E angle delta minus V angle 0 degree divided by J XS. So we have neglected the resistance. We have neglected the resistance part. So in stability studies, this is the very commonly used assumption that resistance can be neglected. Even resistance can be neglected in the per unit analysis also. So this we have already discussed that resistance can easily be neglected. So E angle delta minus V angle 0 degree divided by jxs. This I am giving you the derivation of the power angle equation and power angle curve. So real value E angle delta multiplied by, so whenever I take the conjugate, it becomes E angle minus delta divided by minus jx, taking the conjugate, minus E angle delta multiplied by V angle minus 0 degree, doesn't matter, 0 is 0, whether it is positive or negative, minus jx. So what I have done is that taking the conjugate. So E angle delta multiplied by E angle minus delta divided by jx, delta minus delta becomes 0, it becomes E square by minus jxs. So PE is given by real value of E square over minus jxs, and then here it becomes E angle delta by minus jxs. So it becomes minus j E angle delta V by xs. So this becomes minus j E V by xs. Angle is delta, which is written as cos delta plus j sine delta. Now the real part. Real part of this component is 0. The real part of this component is 0. The real part of this component is also 0, and we have left with the real part of only one component, EV by xs sine delta. J square is minus 1. So PE is reduced to this formula only, EV upon xs into sine of the angle delta. So this equation, which represents the relation between the electrical power PE and the delta, is known as power angle equation. Power angle equation. So this power angle equation is very significant for because it represents how much electrical power can be transmitted from the source to the infinite bus during any particular conditions, maybe during steady state conditions, maybe during transient conditions. So this gives the and based on this electrical power, we draw the power angle curve. Right, so let me write that for this system, when we have let's say simple representation, V angle 0 xs, so E angle delta. Okay, so we have source E angle delta, infinite bus V angle 0 degree, and xs. So in case let's say it's delta 1, it's delta 1 and it's delta 2. V angle delta 2. So this is the question for you, delta 2. Then what will be the value of P? So this is the question for you. Anybody, if you want to answer this question, most welcome. Otherwise, you can also write down in the chat. If I'm having source as E angle delta 1, infinite bus voltage as V angle delta 2, and it is excess. Then what is the value of PE? PE is equal to EV by excess sine delta in case it is delta and it is D0.